hugs. We have many special guests here tonight, including State Senator Dan Katowski, who's also a Danny Didd Foundation board member. Also, DePaul University women's basketball coach Doug Bruno, a Danny Didd Foundation board member as well. The Mitchell family from Southern California is here, and Julie and Doug Hutchison of the Chelsea Hutchison Foundation from Colorado. 41st Ward Alderman Mary O'Connor, State Representative John D'Amico, the Epilepsy Foundation of Greater Chicago's President Phil Gattone, and State Senate President John Cullerton. Thank you all for being here. To start things off tonight, we've put together a short video for you to watch. But first, I want to tell you how from the convergence of two thoughts came the name of tonight's event, Hearts and Hugs. The heart is the purest representation of who we are as human beings. It symbolizes the seat of our emotional and our moral existence, and it provides us guidance and balance in our compassionate pursuits. This balance offered by the heart is often counter to our sense of conformity, and in the case of the Danny Didd Foundation and the space that we have come to occupy, we recognize the mindset offered by this counterbalance as a necessary starting point toward achieving our goals. As we know that prevailing strategies for the advancement of the knowledge that seizures can kill have not been successful. And so we proceed not only in line and in tandem with the conventional wisdom of existing groups and agencies that we have encountered on our path, but we also lead with our hearts fully and intentionally at the forefront of our efforts to assist in preventing deaths caused by seizures. In doing so, we have given the cause a much-needed shot in the arm, and we have found that the heart sees things that the brain does not, and that the heart does not take no for an answer. And then there is the hug. Danny was a hug who gave Mary Ann and me a big hug every morning. It's as simple as that. Now put those two together, our hugs and Danny's hugs, and you've got the framework of the Danny Didd Foundation, an organization that is as passionate as it is tactical, as entwined as it is independent, and as patient as it is relentless in the pursuit of the achievement of its goals. More than anything, though, what you've got is an organization that is driven by the daily reconstruction of the soft embrace of a little boy. From the very beginning, the Danny Didd Foundation has held a simplistic view of addressing the problems of epilepsy and of sudden unexplained death in epilepsy. We have adopted a stubborn determination that we will play a role in advancing awareness of this disorder, as well as unraveling the mystery of deaths caused by seizures. We are proud of those who share our vision, and each day we strengthen our commitment to serving a population of people and their loved ones who are afflicted by the disorder of epilepsy. Our goals have been realistic and attainable, and our social impact has been meaningful, measurable, and immediate. We have made enormous strides in the past year, and part of why we are here tonight is to thank you for your participation in what we have accomplished to date. And so I say thank you from the Danny Didd Foundation, and thank you from the Stanton family. Please take a moment to watch this video that we put together for tonight's event. Cue the video, please. Now, one of the first thoughts that Mary Ann and I had when we started this journey of ours was that there must be a technology that can reliably sense seizure activity and sound an alarm when such activity occurs during sleep. And we were quickly informed that no such technology exists. And so our second thought was that no, the technology that doesn't exist is a time machine that'll bring Danny back. And our third thought was that we were going to find and or develop the technology that will reliably alert when seizure activity occurs during sleep. And in our search, we came across this interesting piece of equipment from Finland called the MFIT movement monitor. And so we contacted the company, we tested the product ourselves, and we decided that doctors need to become aware of this technology. We then partnered with the Epilepsy Foundation of Greater Chicago, and we started meeting with the heads of epilepsy centers at various hospitals around Chicago. Our goal was to get this device recognized as a possible tool for use in seizure treatment programs. And our extensive conversations and subsequent introduction of doctors in Chicago to the MFIT company have allowed us to play the lead role in spearheading a clinical study of this device in 3 hospitals here in Chicago. These clinical trials and the data set that they are producing are the first of their kind in the United States. And they are, we hope, the first step toward FDA approval and insurance coverage of this type of technology. As part of our efforts to support and promote such technologies, me, Mary Ann, Mary Grace, Johnny, and Tommy traveled to Finland to participate in a news segment about the MFIT movement monitor and about our journey. Please take a look at that segment of what was produced when we were in Finland. You could cue the video copy.
Innovation is the cornerstone of success in America. In order to compete in the global marketplace, businesses and...
We took that trip last August to Finland, and the subsequent road to getting the MFIT movement monitor into its current trial phase has been as much a test of patience as it has been one of perseverance. But we did not travel this road alone, and I'm now going to introduce you to one of the people who from the beginning recognized the value of what the Danny Did Foundation was attempting to accomplish, and who believed in the Danny Did Foundation's goal to bring technology options to the treatment model for those afflicted by seizure disorders, which, as we know, can be a deadly condition. The award itself is a photograph taken by nationally acclaimed photographer Colleen Plum. The photo is of a single snowy owl, a creature believed throughout the ages to embody bravery and to possess the ability to assist in finding truth. These attributes are, to me and Mary Ann, an appropriate representation of what this award exemplifies. And we are proud to present it in Daniel George Stanton's name. And so, without further ado, I present Dr. Marvin Rossi of Rush University Medical Center as the first recipient of the Danny Did Foundation's Award for Excellence in Emerging Seizure Detection Technologies.
Thank you, Mike, Mary Ann, Danny Did Foundation. It's a privilege to be here tonight, and I wasn't sure I wanted to use the word celebrate, but this is a celebration of nearly 2 years of the Danny Did Foundation. And this is the second annual Hearts and Hugs event. I want to start by backing up a bit. This won't take long. Over 20 years ago, I was exposed to epilepsy in a lab. I was actually invited to work in the lab for several years during my education with the founder of the Rush Epilepsy Center, Dr. Frank Morrell. And what I wanted to do was do a lot in a little time. Well, it took 7+ years to do the work in the lab, and what Dr. Morrell was famous for was teaching me how to do research in a very measured and deliberate manner. Those were 2 favorite words he enjoyed using. Fast forward to 2010-ish. Jill Gattone, she's a nurse clinician with whom I'm associated. Without her, I couldn't do my job. She asked if I would sit in on a meeting that was to be held at Rush. It was the first meeting in Chicago. At the meeting would be Phil Gattone, the CEO and director of the Epilepsy Foundation of Greater Chicago, and the Danny Did group. That's all I knew. I walked into the room. I saw this gentleman. I shook his hand and said, "Nice to meet you." Sat down, and they started talking. And, well, that gentleman was Mike Stanton. I had no idea whose hand I shook. I thought, oh, this guy's not going to like me at all now. So we started talking, and the first words were, "We need something today. We need something now. We don't want to wait another night. We can't do this. We can't do the research well. We need the technology. This is what we have." And also in the room was the MFIT group. I'm very careful about bringing in a vendor. And also, from all those years of doing things in a very measured and deliberate way, that means slow, I spoke up and I said, you know, there is a good amount of research being done. The NIH is funding SUDEP research. And I'm working with some animals, looking at some of these questions now. And I thought, oh, I don't know what I just said, because these guys are really going to hate me. Because I basically said, slow down. They listened to me, and I thought it was a very important meeting. They went through each center in Chicago and spoke with the epilepsy groups there. And inevitably, they called me and asked if I wanted to be their inaugural medical advisor. And I thought, that's amazing. And so what they taught me was that it was very important to not only move forward, but to be very careful in what technologies we bring to the table. But I also became very excited about this because my research does look at technologies, and this was an ability to actually move things a bit more briskly. And so what we did over the following year was put together consent, a protocol. Dr. Nordley at Children's, Dr. Stefan Schuley at Northwestern were interested. They took off with the work. The coordinator at Northwestern, Irina Garrick, and Elizabeth Gerard, Dr. Elizabeth Gerard, basically started the trial there. And also at Children's, Dr. Nordley and Dr. Linda Lautz basically implemented things. And already there's some significant data that I think is very exciting. What this showed me was that this is the first device in a list of numerous devices. I think what we can do is basically establish Chicago as a hub to do more clinical work. And I did get a call from the Mayo Clinic as well in Minnesota, who was interested in looking at how we organize Chicago. So I want to thank industry. And again, I'm very careful about this, but I do feel that industry is critical, if done well, to move research forward. So the guys at MFIT, Heikki, Pekka, and Christine, I think you have real momentum here. So I want to also say one very important thing I learned during all those years of research, during those very measured and deliberate years, was that every action has an implication. Every action, the thing I do, the contribution, has a percussion wave. This percussion wave has a long-lasting effect. I know this. I published an article. Do something simple in the lab with the patient. That action affects people down the road for a long time. Danny's actions were a contribution. His percussion wave will help the quality of life of others. In fact, that wave will likely save lives for a long time to come. Every day is precious. Thank you very much.
Also being awarded the Danny Did Foundation Award for Excellence in Emerging Seizure Technologies are Children's Memorial Hospital and Northwestern Memorial Hospital. And if Irene Garrick from Northwestern would come up and accept these awards, we'd be honored. I'm also happy to announce tonight that as a part of the Danny Did Foundation's commitment to assisting in the development of technologies that may assist in preventing deaths caused by seizures, we are awarding a $10,000 grant to Smart Monitor of San Jose, California for the furtherance of clinical studies and beta testing and the development of their product, the Smartwatch, a portable device that detects and alerts to seizure-type activity. This device is currently undergoing testing in epilepsy monitoring units of the University of California at San Francisco and at Stanford University. And beta testing for home users is also underway. And the Danny Did Foundation is proud to be a part of the further development of this device. We're looking forward to our continued efforts, and we plan to fund many more similar technology initiatives. Thank you.
This year, Danny's Foundation was proud to offer an Edgebrook School 8th grader the opportunity to earn a $1,000 scholarship. The students were asked to write an essay that included the following. 1, a discussion of the importance of helping nonprofit organizations. And 2, an explanation of how the student will introduce and incorporate the Danny Did Foundation into his or her high school. The scholarship committee was highly impressed with the quality of essays it received. The essays were innovative and fresh, with just the right balance of tenderness. The foundation knows the importance of engaging younger generations into our conversation in order to achieve our mission to prevent deaths caused by seizures. And these essays were a powerful example of how individually and collectively, young people can work together to make good things happen. But on a personal note, this scholarship means so much more to me. Our little Danny would be graduating from kindergarten with his friends Mark Murray and Charlie Duffy in 4 days. He would be attending Edgebrook High School and Edgebrook School, a school he already knew well because of his big brother John and his big sister Mary Grace, or his big sister Mary Grace, and a school filled with students who already knew Danny. Danny was already connected to Edgebrook School, and I know, because moms just know, that Danny would have had an impact on that school. And because Danny lost his chance to formally enter a classroom, it's up to us to make sure he impacts the lives of those who attend Edgebrook. And these essays we received clearly demonstrate that impact. So it is with great appreciation that the Danny Didd Foundation recognizes its newest high school ambassadors. Please give a round of applause for the 3 runner-ups from Edgebrook School who could not attend tonight: Kate Spear, Jacqueline Mercader, and Eric Anderson. And the recipient of the Danny Didd Foundation $1,000 scholarship goes to a student who I know truly believes in the power of Danny Stanton and will continue to tell her story well beyond her high school years. Kieran Dunham.
Thank you very much for the scholarship. It is an honor to receive the first Danny Didd Foundation Award. I am grateful to be chosen, and I promise to make sure Loyola Academy knows about Danny and the Danny Didd Foundation. Please accept this envelope that a family can buy an MFit and that will be helped by me and the Danny Didd Foundation. Thank you again for this wonderful honor.
Okay, thanks everyone. Now we're going to move on to the live auction here, and I'd like to introduce Mr. James Gordon.